Many illegal immigrants cross the U.S. border looking for a better life. Oftentimes they risk their lives getting across. Now at one border crossing in Arizona, many of those trying to cross into the U.S. face attack from a marauding band of homeless kids who live in a sewer drainage tunnel. Celeste Gonzalez has details in this special report.
Welcome to the Morley Tunnel on the Arizona side of the U.S.-Mexico border. Down there is the not-so-sweet home of Los Bajadores, the undergrounders. They're also known as tunnel rats, tunnel kids, and sewer kids. Sewer kids because human waste and other toxins flow underground through these passageways from Mexico into the United States. The kids, ranging in age from 8 to 21, live in a world where the only true law is the law of survival of the fittest.
These kids are survivors. You know, they do what they do to survive because they live here.
And what they do is frightening. Armed and often high on fumes from spray paint, groups of these youngsters prey on illegal immigrants who use the tunnels to cross the border. Border Patrol agents such as Steve McDonald are in constant conflict with the young terrorists.
They do have knives. They do carry clubs or makeshift clubs made out of rebar or pipe or whatever they can get their hands on. And as a group, and I mean a group of 15 or 20, they assault people, just regular illegal immigrants that are coming in, and brutalize them for no other reason than the fact that they may not have any money on them at the time they've come through.
The kids, most of whom are Mexican nationals, are part of a gang called Barrio Libre, or Free Neighborhood. The name refers to their free lifestyle, and some of its members say they like the name because they get everything for free. At 11 years old, Omar says he's been living as an undergrounder for almost a year. He says life with the group is fine. But when I ask him if it hurts him when people call him a tunnel rat, he shyly nods yes and says it does bother him.
I can understand people wanting to come to this country because they got to eat or whatever, or they're looking for a better life economically. I cannot condone people cutting people up, beating them with pipes, shooting them, leaving them for dead, ripping off their clothes.
In order to stem some of the problems, city workers constructed a steel fence inside the tunnel. But that didn't work for long because somebody cut right through it with a hacksaw. Now they're having to reinforce it. And this fence has not stopped the tunnel kids. They and illegal immigrants have simply moved to other underground locations. Here, a handful of the tunnel kids were arrested in a Border Patrol sweep. They were allegedly attempting to rob a group of illegal immigrants at knife point. Just an hour before the sweep, the kids told me they were not involved in any illegal activity. These kids are taken into custody, but because they are juveniles, they suffer few consequences. Authorities simply deport them to the Mexican side of the border. Within hours, they will be free to roam through their underground world again. Along the U.S.-Mexico border in Nogales, Arizona, Celeste Gonzalez for the 10 o'clock news.
And tomorrow night on the 10 o'clock news, we'll bring you part 2 of the Tunnel Kids. Find out why some of the kids live in the tunnels and how widespread the problem has become.
A band of children who survive without schools can be found in a desperate netherworld near a border crossing between the U.S. and Mexico. We showed you where they lived last night. Tonight, Celeste Gonzalez has a second and concluding part of a special report on the children known as the undergrounders.
It's like a scene from William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Just as in the novel, these children are abandoned, living in a violent world where only the strong survive. This is the world of the tunnel children, who live underground in the sewers on the U.S.-Mexico border. 21-year-old Chapo says he's the oldest member of his gang. Asked if he likes this life, Chapo says, "Where else can I go? If you go to the Mexican side, the police will arrest you. If you stay on the U.S. side, the Border Patrol harasses you. So I stay here." As they climb out of the sewer home, the children beg for money. Border Patrol agents say the kids, once out of the sewer, head for other areas of the border. There, they wait to guide illegal immigrants across for money. Often, the tunnel kids attack illegals if those crossing can't pay. They hang out near holes in the fence that divides the U.S. and Mexico. Like the tunnels, these areas are dangerous for Border Patrol agents.
We have to be very careful right where we are because of the rock attacks that we've seen, the gunfire. We've had 9 incidents involving gunfire here. 1 was a sniper incident.
Minutes later, we found out just what he was talking about.
Let's go. God damn, let's get out of here. That was on our side. That was a gunshot. It's not a wise thing to loiter.
Tensions along the border are nothing new, but authorities say the surge in violence involving children here is. Some say the tunnel kids phenomenon is just a warning of much larger problems to come.
If you see what's happening on the border, I think it's symptomatic of what's happening with kids everywhere, that kids are being faced with the issue of survival at a more primitive level than ever before.
Next to one of the underground waterways is a Southern Pacific Railroad station, a place where more trouble brews. The problem with tunnel kids doesn't end here in Nogales. Sometimes they hop on the train, wind up in Tucson, Phoenix, even Los Angeles. You're saying these are no longer kids?
Right, yeah, they're no longer kids. You know, a lot of people feel sorry because they see it on the newspapers, say, oh, these poor little children, you know, they're not taken care of, they don't have parents. That's true, they probably don't have parents. They don't have anybody to look after them. But the life they lead, they are not children anymore.
But those who believe that the so-called bajadores, or undergrounders, are still kids, say they must be saved, or they will no longer be undergrounders. They'll be los perdidos, the lost ones. There will be no hope for them at all. Along the U.S.-Mexico border in Nogales, Arizona, Celeste Gonzalez for the 10 o'clock news.